From your first Goomba stomp to your thousandth victory in Final Fantasy, the Nintendo Entertainment System may just be the most nostalgic gaming console ever. And now, a new miniaturized version is here, preloaded with 30 of the all-time greatest games, which will be presented right now. Super Mario Bros. Is a 1985 platform video game internally developed by Nintendo, released in North America in 1985. The player controls Mario, and in two-player game, a second player controls Mario's brother Luigi as he travels through the Mushroom Kingdom in order to rescue Princess Toadstool from the antagonist Bowser. It has been named as the greatest game of all time, and I think we can all agree with this. The second game of the list is Super Mario 3, where Bowser and the Koopalings are causing chaos yet again, but this time they're going beyond the Mushroom Kingdom into the 7 worlds that neighbor it. Now, Mario and Luigi must battle a variety of enemies, including a Koopaling in each unique and distinctive world, on their way to ultimately taking on Bowser himself. Lucky for the brothers, they have more power-ups available than ever before. The Legend of Zelda was the very first Zelda game released. It centers its plot around a boy named Link, who becomes the central protagonist throughout the series. It came out as early as 1986 for the Famicom in Japan, and was later released in the Western world, including Europe and the US, in 1987. Donkey Kong is an arcade game released by Nintendo in 1981. It is an early example of the platform game genre, as the gameplay focuses on maneuvering the main character across a series of platforms while dodging and jumping over obstacles. In this game, Mario, originally named Mr. Video and then Jumpman, must rescue a damsel in distress named Pauline from a giant ape, obviously named Donkey Kong. Mega Man 2 was released in North America in 1988, and the story continues the protagonist's battle against the evil Dr. Wily and his rogue robots. Pac-Man was released in United States in October 1980, and it was immensely popular from its original release to the present day, and now you can run from these little ghosts every time you want, even without a coin in your pocket. Final Fantasy is a science fiction and fantasy media franchise developed by Square Enix, and this first installment of the series was published in 1987, and it was a huge success. The story follows 4 youth called the Light Warriors, who each carry one of the world's 4 elemental orbs, which have been darkened by the 4 elemental fiends. Together, they quest to defeat these evil forces, restore lights to the orbs, and save their world. Metroid is an action game set on the planet Zebes. The story follows Samus Aran as she attempts to retrieve the parasitic Metroid organisms that were stolen by space pirates, who plan to replicate the Metroids by exposing them to better rays and then use them as biological weapons to destroy Samus and Hal, who oppose them. Like the majority of Kirby's video games, Kirby Adventures is a platformer. The game consists of 7 worlds, each containing a set of regular levels, a boss fight, and a warp star door which enables Kirby to travel from world to world. The most worlds also contains mini-games, which allow Kirby to gain extra lives, museums where Kirby may gain certain powers, and arenas where Kirby must battle with a mini-boss to win health items and allow him to copy the boss's special ability. The game was the first in the series to include a save feature, and it automatically saves the player's progress after each level. Castlevania was released in North America in 1987. The game takes place in the year 1691, where players control Simon Belmont, who is tasked with defeating the vampire Dracula. In Castlevania, the player travels through Count Dracula's castle, which emerges every 100 years. Simon battles numerous bosses along his way, including Frankenstein's monster, Hygor, a pair of mummy men, the Phantom Bat, Queen Medusa, the Grim Reaper, and Count Dracula himself. In Ninja Gaiden, the story follows a ninja named Ryu Hayabusa as he journeys to America to avenge his murdered father. There, he learns that a person named Jackio plans to take control of the world by unleashing an ancient demon through the power contained in two statues. Featuring platforming gameplay similar to Castlevania, players control Ryu through 6 acts that comprise 20 levels. They encounter enemies that must be dispatched with Ryu's katana and other secondary weapons. The graphic upgrade in Super Mario 2 is not the only difference from its predecessor, as in this one, the game added the ability to lift and toss enemies and objects, and also includes elements and ideas originally proposed for the prototype of this game. In this medical installment, the game focuses on the player character Mario, who assumes the role of a doctor and is tasked with eradicating deadly viruses. In this falling block puzzle game, the player's objective is to destroy the viruses populating the on-screen playing field by using colored capsules that are dropped into the field. The player manipulates the capsules as they fall so that they are aligned with viruses of matching colors, which removes them from play. The player progresses through the game by eliminating all the viruses on the screen in each level. Punch-Out features a boxer known as Little Mac fighting his way up through the ranks of the World Video Boxing Association. After facing a series of colorful fictional opponents in 3 circuits, the goal is to win a final dream fight against a highly skilled boxer, the real-life Mike Tyson, then World Heavyweight Champion in the original release, or the fictional Mr. Dream present in this version. In Balloon Fight, the player controls an unnamed balloon fighter with 2 balloons attached to his helmet. Repeatedly pressing the A button or holding down the B button causes the balloon fighter to flap his arms and rise into the air. If a balloon is popped, the player's flotation is decreased, making it harder to rise. A life is lost if both balloons are popped by enemy balloons fighters if the player falls in the water, gets eaten by the large piranha near the surface of the water, or is hit by lightning. Mario, who originally appeared in Donkey Kong, has now captured Donkey Kong and placed him in a cage as punishment for kidnapping his girlfriend Pauline. Donkey Kong Jr. must rescue his father from Mario by working his way through a series of stages. Mario attempts to stop DK Jr. by releasing animals and putting obstacles in his way. When DK Jr. succeeds at the final level, Donkey Kong is freed and kicks Mario into the distance, leaving him to an unknown fate. The Adventure of Link is a direct sequel to the original The Legend of Zelda, again involving the protagonist Link on a quest to save Princess Zelda, who has fallen under a sleeping spell. The Adventure of Link's emphasis on side-scrolling and role-playing elements, however, was a significant departure from its predecessor. As of 2016, the game remains the only technical sequel to the original title, as all other entries in the series either are prequels or take place in an alternative reality according to the official Zelda timeline. Whether the player chooses to race solo or against computer-assisted riders, they race against a certain time limit. The goal is to qualify for the championship race by coming in 3rd place or above in the challenge race. When the temperature exceeds safe limits, the bar becomes full, the player will be immobilized for several seconds while the bike cools down. Driving over an arrow will immediately reduce the bike's temperature. In Ice Climber, the first player controls Popo, a boy wearing a blue Eskimo parka, while the second player controls Nana, a girl wearing a pink one. The only tool they carry is a wooden mallet to carve openings in the ice above and to club enemies. Each mountain level consists of 8 layers of colorful ice and a bonus stage. The plot of Kid Icarus revolves around protagonist Pete's quest for 3 sacred treasures which he must equip to rescue the Grecian fantasy world Angel Land and its ruler, the goddess Palutena. The player controls Pete through platform areas while fighting monsters and collecting items. Their objective is to reach the end of the levels and to find and defeat boss monsters that guard the 3 treasures. Double Dragon 2. This game involves Billy and Jimmy Lee in a mission to avenge their girlfriend Marian after she is shot to death by the Black Warriors leader Willie, who is retaliating against the Lee brothers after his defeat at the end of the previous game. Bubble Bobble. In this famous game, starring the twin bubble dragons Bub and Bob, tasks players with traveling through 100 stages, blowing and bursting bubbles, jumping on and off blown bubbles to navigate level obstacles, dodging and eliminating enemies, and collecting a variety of items including some power-ups and significant bonuses. The main goal of the game is to rescue Bob and Bob's girlfriends from the Cave of Monsters. It is an early example of an action game with multiple endings, which depends on the player's performance and discovery of secrets. Tech Mobile. In the NES version allows 2 players rather than the arcade's 4 players. The player can choose between 3 modes: 1 player, 2 player, and coach. In 1 player mode, the player picks a football team and plays against the computer. After every game that the player wins, the computer picks another team to play as, and the player stays with the original choice. In the 2 player and coach modes, the player and another human will play 1 game, but the player only chooses the plays in the coach mode. Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest. Set some time after the events of the first installment, the player once again assumes the role of vampire hunter Simon Belmont, who is on a journey to undo a curse placed on him by Dracula at the end of their previous encounter. With Dracula's body split into 5 parts after his defeat, Simon must find and bring them to the ruins of his castle to seal and defeat him. Mario Brothers. In the game, Mario is portrayed as an Italian-American plumber who, along with his younger brother Luigi, has to defeat creatures that have been coming from the sewers below New York City. The gameplay focuses on Mario's extermination of them by flipping them on their backs and kicking them away. Super C. In this game, the evil Red Falcon organization have set a base on the Galuga archipelago near New Zealand in a plot to conquer the world. 2 commandos, Bill Reiser and Lance Bean of the Counter Unit, are sent to the island to destroy the enemy forces and uncover the true nature of the alien entity controlling them. The objective of Galaga is to score as many points as possible by destroying insect-like enemies. The player controls a starfighter that can move left and right along the bottom of the playfield. Enemies swarm in groups in a formation near the top of the screen and then being flying down towards the player, firing bullets at and attempting to crash into them. In later stages, some enemies even break from an entering group in a frantic attempt to crash into the player. The game ends when the player's last fire is lost by colliding with an enemy, being hit by an enemy bullet, or being captured. The story of Star Tropics follows Mike as he travels to visit his uncle, an archaeologist by the name of Dr. Stephen Jones, at his laboratory on the fictional Sea Island. When Mike arrives at the Dr. Jones' home in the tropical village of Coralcola, he finds that his uncle has gone missing. Traveling to many of the isles of the South Seas, Mike encounters monsters, labyrinths, quirky characters, and many intelligent animals, including a talking parrot and a mother dolphin looking for her son, Ghosts and Goblins is a platform game where the player controls a knight named Sir Archer, who must defeat zombies, ogres, demons, cyclops, dragons and other monsters in order to rescue Princess Primprin, who has been kidnapped by Satan, king of the demon world. Along the way, the player can pick up new weapons, bonuses and extra suits of armor that can help in his task. The game is often considered very difficult by arcade standards and is commonly regarded as one of the most difficult games ever released. In Gradius, the player controls the transdimensional spaceship Vic Viper and must battle waves of enemies through various environments. The game became synonymous with the phrase "destroy the core", as the standard of boss battles in the Gradius series involved combat with a giant craft, in the center of which will be situated one to several blue-colored spheres. These bosses will be designed in such a way that there will be a straight passage from the exterior of the giant craft which leads directly to one of these cores.